Yes, welcome. You're still watching the Wednesday edition of the program New Dawn on UTV with Charity James and Akeem Akintunde. And it's our time for the discussion segment of the program. The first part, we have two wonderful guests in house. And what are we looking at? Don't forget that, there have been so many talks in the past that it is not until we have these multinational companies or big industrial people before any nation can move forward. That's the future of any nation economically is to actually create the enabling environment that will allow small-scale businesses to thrive. So the topic we want to look at this morning, it's small-scale businesses, platform for sustainable economic development. And I'm glad that we have two wonderful gentlemen in house to look at this topic with us. First is Adeoye Adewolu, FCIB, who is an agri-processing entrepreneur. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right. We also have Pastor Adebowale Onofowora, also an agriculturist, joining us for this discussion. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Of course, Charity James is also here.
I'm always
and she'll fire the first salvo. Charity?
Let me start with Mr. Adewolu. What type of businesses do we categorize as small scale? Because we see people all over the places having their wares here, having their wares there. They sell things. Even some sell in their cars. So what type of businesses can we categorize under small scale?
Well, thank you. Small scale enterprise can either be described as micro, small, medium. It depends on the number of people that are in your employment. From 1 to 9, they say that one is micro, and then above that up to I think 40 or thereabouts, that is a small scale medium. And it's usually a small enterprise that is running, providing for the family or providing for a small community. It's just can be described that way.
Okay, Mr. Onofowora, to you, do you think we run the small scale business in Nigeria, or we are just doing our thing the way we want?
Yes, I think we do. Let me even say, maybe most of the businesses in Nigeria can be said to be small scale. We don't have mega businesses around. More than 90% of our businesses are in the small scale category. You understand? A lot of individuals, most of us employ ourselves, and that's the basic definition of a small scale business. And then you grow from there. We can't really say we have transgenerational businesses, especially in this our client. So we are in the small space environment per se. Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me, Mr. Adewolu, do we have the enabling environment for small scale businesses to thrive in Nigeria? Or what are the enabling environments we need for small scale? You are laughing.
Yes,
because you are
laughing. Because every nation strives after development. There are different approaches, but it has been recognized worldwide now that for any growing economy, you need to pay attention to the small scale enterprises. Now, for those small enterprises to survive, to flourish, they need an environment that is conducive. For example, issue of power is a major minus. It's not there. Roads, we are still lacking behind. Even the quality of human resources is not there. So those are the things that the government will need to wake up and do, because that's the only way you can reduce poverty in this land. It's just basic. You don't have any way to it. I can give you an example. Prior to now, maybe I have 11, 15 staff working with me. But as of today, I have only just 2 left. Why? Because power is a major issue. The environment is hostile. Policy somersaults. All those things need to put in place and be avoided for us to move as a nation. It's wonderful the government has recognized this, but we are never short of idea. But it is the implementation of those ideas that is lacking. But my prayer is that even if it's just one, let's get power. If there is power today, I can tell you for a fact that things will take a different shape, and the kind of number of unemployed youths that we have on the roads, drastically they will thin out, because most of these small enterprises will take 10, somebody will take 15, somebody will take 20, another person will take, and that way you just discover that unemployment will just drop. It won't be that people that are looking for job but they can't find.
Pastor Fowora, let's look at, you are an agriculturalist also. Let's look at what you specialize on, and of course looking at the kind of enabling environments you think government should put in place, or stakeholders should put in place. Apart from the usual fertilizers, which I know that you guys even struggle to. Why am I looking you guys laugh? All right, so what has been your experience?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me say that the biggest challenge is a regulated market. That's the biggest challenge of the industry. If we compare with other clients to our client, what government does is to make sure there is a regulated market. You know, if the market is regulated, you will not mind going to produce. Personally, I tell people, money is not the biggest challenge of entrepreneurs. I can sell my car, I can sell my property to produce, if I know I will sell at the market price where my product are ready. But the challenge here is this: you spend so much money to produce, at the end of the day you don't have where to sell to. Poultry farmers are crying. You have spent so much, buy raw materials, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you don't have people who will buy your produce at the market value compared to what you have spent to produce. You understand? I remember those days, is it the cocoa board that Awolowo formed?
Marketing board.
All cocoa farmers knows once our produce are ready, they will take it at a particular amount. So you are not afraid. Now we are scared. You don't. If you start producing now, you don't know what will happen next week. Probably things will come. You get what I'm trying to say? So there is no regulated market. If there is a regulated market, entrepreneurs will not mind. Personally, it is the biggest challenge of our time. I produce a lot. I'm more in the vegetable industry. You know, greenhouses and all that. You spend so much to build your controlled environment, and when you produce, and when these produce are ready, you don't have a road to move them. You don't have the market available there is saying no, we cannot pay what you have spent on producing. You get what I'm trying to say? So a regulated market, I would say, is the biggest challenge for entrepreneurship in our client.
So in essence, the state of the economy is not favorable to the small scale.
It's not. It's not. The economy is actually, let me say, set up against SMEs. That's the way it is. And majorly, it's meant to be for SMEs. Let me say one thing. One of the big plus for our country is our problem. SMEs or businesses thrive on problem solving. We have so much of it, so a lot of opportunity. Every problem is an opportunity to make money. Every problem is an opportunity for a business. But the key is, when you tap into this opportunity, at the end of the day, how do you get it to the mainstream? That's where the problem comes. So government has a part to play at a particular level. I think at the regulation level, you get what I'm saying? But government is not doing that. So So there's nothing you can do. Look at what Mr. Adewale said. No power. If you know how much you spend to power your establishment, you'll be amazed. It's huge. And at the end of the day, you have spent this much. Which market are you taking the product, the produce to? We now buy maize at almost 200 naira. 2010, 10 years ago, we were buying maize at about 10 naira per kg. A crate of egg in 2010 was around 800 naira. 2020, we now buy maize at around 175, 180. A crate of egg is 1,000. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the disparity in cost of raw material? Now compare it to how much the market is willing to pay for it. So it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. In other times, government gives subsidy to farmers. They buy up this produce at an amount that will be beneficial, yes, to the farmers, and then redistribute it into the economy. But that's not what is playing out here. So that has been one of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs or SMEs, I would say.
Okay, Mr. Adewale, let's continue looking at the challenges so that we'll prefer solution to it. Looking at these challenges, don't you think a tax collection to the way tax are being collected on some of these small-scale businesses is hampering on the growth?
Yes, because we have too many people wanting to collect revenue. For example, the local government will come, pay. The state government will come, pay. The federal government will come, pay. You are moving your consignment from one location to another, block. So many issues. But the thing is, we just need to just sit down and do things differently. One of the major factors that is affecting us as a nation is the issue of integrity. People have lost out in that respect because of poverty. That's my take. I used to work in a structured environment. Your take home can take care of you. But when I moved to the streets, it's a different ball game, man. It's quite different. It's quite different because people are just looking for money to survive. So, and in that environment, it's dog eat dog. They don't want to know whether you want to survive. They are looking for a way to just take as much from you as they can, and that's a major. So one thing that we can do,
The regulators or what?
not the regulator,
Everybody.
I'm talking about everybody, even the staff, everybody now. Government wants to yank off you, staff want to take what does not belong to them as if you are a Father Christmas, which is not the case. Somebody is bringing his own form from somewhere, you need to protect this form, but all of a sudden you just discover that the money will thin out and that will be it. Like my pastor said some few minutes ago, he was talking about the issue of regulated market. It's an issue, and sometimes I feel sad that things are turning out this way, but we just need to find a way to reduce poverty. If we are able to reduce poverty, people are paid living wages, you will discover that some of these issues will disappear. At the end of the day, you now discover that some of those money collected, they don't actually go to the government. So, another issue. And why? Because survivor. Somebody that has 4 children at home, wife, and is taking 30,000 naira. In this day, it can't work. So we just need to just find a way to solve this problem. It's a major challenge, and I pray that private government should just begin to look at some enterprises that they can pump money to, that can absorb a lot of people. That's the way it can work. Otherwise, I can't think through. I get headache at times. You want to do one project, you are looking at it. We are not short of funds, sir. Funds is available, but where is the project? If you have the project, do you have people that can actualize it for you? If you put your money there, many people want to bring money, even from outside, but people don't have integrity, because when they borrow, they won't pay. When they do investments, people will not get the value. Things are not moving the way it's supposed to move. I'm looking for, I don't know, probably over times we'll get over this challenge, but the way I'm looking at it, if you are not very careful, you just discover that the people that have little money that they want to invest, the money will go down. Why? Because of staff infidelity, because of pressure from government, because policy somersaults, because there is no power. If you don't operate, your generator just packed up and you must operate. Power that you are relying on failed and you have borrowed money. How would you pay? The bank will not understand that you are having those challenges. So it's a major minus for all of us. But there's still hope. Hope in the sense that we have now realized that, look, our continuous existence depend on the small scale enterprises, and we need to do what? To increase capacity. You have to train them, inculcate in them. Our educational system must change radically. It's not degree. What is it that you can do that will impact, that will solve the problem? But in doing that, government must come and support. They have to support, because it can't be done by an individual. It has to be a cluster of people. I've had experiences of projects. You bring in people and say, okay, bank, come and, yes, they will look at it. Yes, everything will be okay. But probably at the time you have produced, somebody has a guarantee that, oh, I'm going to take this yank off you, and then you are produced. Then you are ready to go to the market. Then the person disappoints. What will you do? Back to square one. And if you are not careful. So we are ready. I'm optimistic. I know that there are a lot of people that want to do genuine business. They want to help the economy, but the challenges around them are just, you are asking me to run and you are tying my hand at the back. Well, it's a major challenge. But we should just be hopeful that things will turn out good.
Okay, I want to take it from where you just stopped and of course turn to Pastor. There was a time I had the opportunity of visiting some few West African countries here. Let me just be specific. One of them, Benin Republic here. And I wanted to actually look out for something that I think is happening in Nigeria, whether it's also happening there.
Okay.
But we'll come back. I'll tell you my experience and I'll also ask my question based on that after this break. Platform for Sustainable Economic Development, and we have two guests in the house. We'll be looking at the challenges and the way forward, talking about Mr. Adewoye Adewolu, FCIB, who is an agri-processing entrepreneur, and of course another agriculturalist, Pastor Adebowale Onofowora. I was talking about my experience, and of course I was actually researching to actually come up with a kind of report back home on the issue of power, and I discovered that yes, there was regular electricity supply there. I also went to the various markets and I discovered that I didn't see too many places where generators were sold. I didn't see too many places where rechargeable lamps were also sold. I also purposely visited some hotels around that place and some factories. I discovered that yes, they also had generating set as backup, but from many places that I went, even the generating set are full of dust because it's been a long time that they actually, all through my stay, maybe they took off the light after announcement for some few minutes and they brought it back. Now, but one thing I can also bring back, or also brought back, is the fact that when it comes to small scale businesses, despite this kind of enabling environment that is lacking here, that I can say is present somewhere, Nigerian small scale business people are still on top. How do we make it?
Okay, thank you very much. Benin Republic is actually a good case study. Yeah, and let me say one thing: we are the giant in terms of population. You see, business thrives on market. It's the market dynamics that is the major difference between here and there. Okay. A lot of businesses in that country are developed to serve this market. You don't have the population to serve. Let me say this. I have this opinion that if you want SMEs to thrive, institutions, especially the government institutions, their role is in the area of, let's say, impact investment. You don't expect everybody to be ready to probably pick up loans or some things that they will have capacity to run and pay back. But I'm not saying you should give free money. Now, why not put your money in areas that will impact the work of SMEs? Let me give you an example. We have some big mega retail chains in Nigeria. I don't want to mention their names. If you go on their shelves, you'll be shocked that our local products are not 10%. And many of those businesses are funded by some government influence from various countries that they came from. Why don't we have our own government institution put money in enterprise that have capacity to pick from SMEs, and then you dictate? I had a story of some sort of people investing in a particular company to control policies in that company. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Now, imagine our government have a big stake in some of these big chains, and we say 30 to 40% of your shelf must be made in Nigerian products. You will be amazed at the ripple effect. That's what they are doing in Benin Republic. They make the environment conducive for their people to produce cheap and then ship to us. Why is it that it's cheaper to buy imported chicken than locally made chicken? Forget about the fact that they inject it with whatever. It's to make it stay longer. The fact is they produce cheaper in these countries than we do here. And the reason for this is because of the enabled environment. They don't have to buy generator sets. They don't have to spend on fuel. You get what I'm trying to say? They don't have to buy their own water by digging their own borehole and all that. So it's very cheap to produce. All the government does, and all you need is to now spend money to export it. Look for the market. Now in Nigeria we have the market, but it's expensive to produce. Ogun State is a Nigerian state. I read a research work by one of the big men in Nigeria. He gave a particular amount for somebody at Itoku, precisely his mother at Itoku, to produce a particular Adire cloth for him, and send the same amount to Japan. They produced Adire, they sent it back, he brought it to the market. He told people to pick one. They picked one. The one they picked is 50% cheaper than the other one. Guess the one they picked? The one from Japan is better and cheaper, considering the fact that what? Imported. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So why that? So in many clients, you spend 10% of what we spend to produce air. Basically because of the environment. So the environment is key.
And
if we have it,
and for now it's hostile.
It's hostile. So that's the problem. Nigeria has a lot of opportunities. I love problems. Problems are the major opportunity for SMEs. We are here to solve problems. You ban bike in the, what do you call it, in the state, somebody sit down and think, okay, how can I solve this problem? Sometimes in one of the states in Nigeria, people discover that people move from a particular end to another end. And then somebody built an app. You understand? Call Lyft. You just download the app. You get out of your house. You just go on the app. Who is moving from a direction? Let's say who is moving from OGTV to Funab. You will just see on the app. You lock in. It picks you up. Instead of him driving to work alone, you pay a particular. You know, if you move from here to Funab, you pay 200 naira. Somebody picks you on the way, you pay him 100 naira because of an app. That's a problem that somebody has solved and is making money. So the problems there give opportunity for money making, for SMEs to thrive, but it's too expensive, too expensive to produce.
All right, Mr. Adewolu, let me ask you this question. The small-scale businesses do have their experiences too, negative experience as far as the results of the coronavirus is concerned. Yes, how were you able to cope during the coronavirus? What are you looking for post-COVID-19?
COVID-19 brought another dimension to business management. We are very lucky in the sense that, and to God be the glory, during that period, governments intervene on our behalf and say that, oh, you can move freely from one location to another. Okay. So
lockdown or no lockdown.
Lockdown or no lockdown.
And of course,
you
move.
I'm able to move from my house to my farm to feed my whatever that I want to feed, to do whatever process. But there are equally challenges. Because when you finish your production, probably your production is meant to go to Lagos. And at the end of the day, you can't get to Lagos.
We're allowed to move too now.
You are.
Because
they are
edibles.
They are edibles.
And not too much roadblocks.
Who's it? You have challenges. You have challenges of moving sometimes. You are free to move. But there are still bottlenecks.
Yeah.
But give it to government. They recognize that factor that, look, this set of people should be able to move. Otherwise, everybody will be locked down.
Yeah, sure.
And food, you can't lock down food. So that was a plus. But aside from that, you discover that there are so many other supports that should come to you that are locked down. So you can't operate in isolation. Invariably, you are still in one way or the other affected. So, and that's disrupted a lot of things. Like I said, prior to now, probably you will be able to take your staff. Some of them are unable to come to the office. The people that you want to buy things from, they are not there, and that's a challenge. So everybody, one way or the other, you are affected. But now, there are some people that cannot do anything at all. Their machine must be switched on. If you don't switch on your machine, your equipment, for 1 week, the cost of maintenance kills. So you can imagine somebody that is locked down, you can't come and switch on the machine because sometimes there is no power. There are so many things that are. So that's the reason why government must come. I don't know how they will do that. They've been doing that, but it's not just enough. A lot of people that are supposed to be on top now, they are under the water. So they need to survive. So they need to be given grants. It may not be too fantastic, something that can help, especially for the small scale enterprises, because they are really feeling the pain. Like I said before, somebody that is being paid salary somewhere, his work and eat. You don't go to work, you don't eat. So you have created a lot of people, disgruntled people in the society. So any little opportunity like this, they want to carry everything. See the result of NSAT from normal to abnormal. Somebody's just want to seize opportunity to create problem. Whereas you are trying to solve one problem, but because of the people down there that don't have hope of tomorrow, they don't care. They are not people like us. Their mentality is different. They are not. If they die, they die.
It's about today, not tomorrow.
So you now open your shop, they will pack everything now. You don't even mind that camera is looking at you. What is camera? What are you telling me?
Especially agricultural produce. It's like palliatives to them.
Just
Either private owned or government.
just pack and go. So that's the reason why we need to wake up as a nation. We need to increase capacity development and provide that environment that best suits small scale enterprises, so that this army that we have in town will have somebody, they will have job to do. If you have job to do, you are tired now, you have gone to work since morning, where will you get and at the end of the day you feed your family. That's the way it works. But if you continue at this rate, I don't know how we're going to survive as a nation.
All right, Pastor Onafora, you are preparing solution to these challenges that is in business, small scale businesses in Nigeria. Let's look at the political will now. Analyzing everything boils down to political will to enact some laws and regulate some things that will be favorable. Can't we do something about the political will affecting small scale businesses?
Well, I think I'm not the right person.
Okay, suggest way.
But because I'm not a politician. But what I would say is this: I think we need more creative approach. Somebody said, you don't tackle a level 1 problem if you remain on level 1. To solve a level 1 problem, you step up to level 2, level 3. What I think we are not doing is we are not being creative in solving our problems. Government keeps coming up with measures. Let me give you one. The market money thing. Yeah, it's good. It's like what we are saying, like a grant or whatever. You give money to people. But you cannot create a sustainable business environment doing that. You see, there are models that have worked somewhere. I think what we need to do is just pick them. One of them is this. Look at businesses that have thrived on their own without support. Without any government support, they have thrived. They are employing 10 people. Pick them with sincerity. How can I help this business to thrive more? If this business thrives more, it will employ 20. This business has employed 100. If we help this business to thrive more, it will employ 200.
Do we have database of businesses?
I think,
let alone picking from
the truth is yes and no. We do. We can actually get anything we want. In one day, I can pick up an ATM. I open an account today and pick up an ATM. If we want to do it, we can. So that's why I say political will is left with the politicians. If we want to do it, we can. But I think we should just be creative in the approach we are giving to some of these things. It's good to give money, but who do you give the money to? You understand what I'm trying to say? And it's very easy to pick the kind of organizations you can give the money to. Again, we as the government put his money, and then there will be a ripple effect on several others, like power that we just mentioned. Can we solve it? Somewhere in the UK, at the time, what the government did is to tell homeowners and business owners, the money you're supposed to spend or to pay for as tax, use it to buy solar panel. And then get your house, here's what I'm trying to say. And they connect that to the grid. The excess, they buy back from you. So for the next 5 years, you are not paying tax, but what we expect you to pay, you are using it to create electricity for yourself. That's support. You know, it is an indirect way, but it goes a long way. There are things that government does that you should, okay, let's support this sector by what we do this. We will not take this from you for now. What you are meant to do with this, use it to create this. So that is just it. So it's very easy. I think business can be sustainable, yes. But we just need to say, we want to do it. I will say personally, if I'm allowed to, that it's as if hunger is a tool by that some people are using. Somebody said the first rule to put anything in your head is to have food in your stomach. So now if you, by default, make the environment unsustainable, then people will keep coming to you. You get what I'm trying to say? But let's empower them. And how do you empower? It's not just by, okay, let's give this one this. Let's create opportunities. What they need. One thing I would say, in a state like before now, some years back, it's difficult to move around Abeokuta. Let me just pick Abeokuta as our operating environment now. But now, because of the infrastructures, especially the road network, you can just, from here now I'm going to I'm no longer afraid that I will spend so hours in the hold up. You get what I'm trying to say? Little things like that are big opportunities for business to thrive. Somebody that wants to go into transportation can say, okay, now the roads are good, I can deploy my vehicle to do, you understand what I'm trying, to do this and all that. So please, I would say if it's possible for government, yes, I know they have the will, but it will affect us more if they do things creatively. It's not the time you open businesses in agriculture and you expect us to be using cutlass and hoes or whatever. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah, there are better creative ways that you can get us engaged. And then businesses will come up and they will be very sustainable. So that's my advice.
Mr. Dewale, he's talking about better ways to improve small-scale businesses. Does that include government incentives, government initiatives and support that can sustain this sector?
Yes. Let me buttress the points that he just raised. The issue of creating that niche for people to do business. You don't need to give people money. I can, because I'm involved. There's a program that the federal government introduced, the school feeding program. If you know what that program has done in the life of people, you won't believe it. The objective is what? To feed children. Very simple. But the multiplier effect of it is enormous. If I'm not involved, I won't be saying this. I won't know. I will give you a very simple example. I was involved in the production of fish fillets for under the school homegrown system. We used to go and buy fish from farmers. The objective is what? Is to feed children. They localize it and say whatever is available in your environment is what you should use. So Ogun State picked fish because it's readily available, because we are the largest producer of catfish in the whole of Nigeria. Ogun State. Now, with that, we discovered that many farmers will now be waiting on you to come and buy. And it was on the basis of that we now say, okay, let's form clusters. People now begin to produce massively. Available market. Because there's a target, you have a market that is structured that you are delivering to. And that is going on seamlessly. There are a lot of people that will come, they will not produce for that market alone, produce for the other market also. Now, that fish that you see, we don't use the head of the fish. A lot of people will come and buy the head of a fish because that's the cheapest source of protein they can get. Those ones are benefiting. The transporters will have something to take. The salt people will have something to take. The rice people will have something to take. The cooks, they have something to take. They are not giving those people cash. They say just feed the children. So you have increased enrollment of school children in the school because many people will come to school now and say, if I go to school, I will eat. Sometimes I want to weep. Parents will tell their children, go to school, go and eat. And then, so that you come and use your medicine. Is that bad? So, you cannot imagine if that is continuous and they feed only from primary 3 to primary 1. If that can be enlarged, you see the impact. The vegetable farmers, they will sell. They have a market to take it to. They don't have to wait. They will increase production. I used to tell, we even structure so many things. Rather than going to banks, individual will come and say, look, Shebi is feed that you need. I will supply you feed.
And you pay later.
And you pay later because you have a market that you are supplying to. And a lot of people will be engaged. That's the kind of intervention that we require. It's not direct giving of cash. Or for Ogun State now, you can imagine the governor comes online, but I hope civil servant will not come and demand for clothes allowance and say every Friday everybody in Ogun State must wear adire. Hello. On Friday every civil servant in Ogun State must wear adire.
That's the policy.
Oh, is it a policy?
Yeah.
Oh, is it a policy?
Yeah.
You will see the impact of that because already the market is waiting. People will now begin to get job to do.
Okay, as we're adding off, let me ask this question. We have the National Board of Technology Incubation, and we have technology incubation centers in various parts of Nigeria. In Ogun State, I think we have in Abeokuta, Ojogbolu, and Owode-Yewa. Now, for small-scale businesses to thrive, what has been the place of these technological incubators in making small-scale businesses thrive?
Okay, to be sincere, I have benefited from the Technology Incubation Center, and I would say it's one of the things the government got right, though the challenges are also enormous. You know, I remember that year I conceived this idea of processing moringa, and I spoke with a mentor, and he told me what I will need to build a factory. Humongous. Then he just told me, but there's somewhere you can go to. You won't need to build a factory, they give you a space. You won't need to pay for electricity. You won't need to pay for water. And he directed me to the Technology Incubation Center. And I got there. And I used that platform to get started. Even though some things are not in place, which every organization has its challenges, and I believe they can improve on that. But really the TIC program, it's a step in the right direction. Any nation that will grow, industry is key. Industry is key. One of the reasons we have so many poor farmers in Nigeria is simply because we are not processing what we are producing. We sell raw materials. There's no money in raw material. You turn it to finished goods. And that's what the TIC is doing. They're adding technology to whatever you produce. They tell you, okay, take it to the next level. Don't just say raw material.
Okay.
So really it's a good program, and I think it needs to be more encouraged so that it can be better.
Mr. What is your experience with them too?
Yes. It's a nice one because they gave us a platform. When we started, no, you don't pay for electricity, you don't pay for water. They provide professional advice and assist you in so many fronts. All wonderful, but that is a policy statement. Sometimes there are issues, but I know if governments pay more attention provide more funding for them, they can do more than they are currently doing. It's a place to be, and I pray that many of such facilities will be provided, where you just go in with only...
My only worry is that your experiences with which of the incubation centers?
I'm in Abeokuta.
So, but we don't know if that is the case in all, not only in Ogun State, where I also have Owode Yewa and somewhere else, but it will be better if the way you have spoken about them, even though there are still challenges, is what appeals
all over the world,
all over Nigeria, where we have incubation centers. Anyway, that's a question for another day. Well, thank you very much for coming onto the program. We've been looking at small-scale businesses, platform for sustainable economic development, and of course, had a wonderful session with my two gentlemen in-house, agric processing entrepreneur, Mr. Adeoye Adewale. Thank you very much, CID, for coming into the program.
Thank you.
And of course, Pastor, who have talked tomorrow, and I know basically as an agriculturalist, without actually quoting the Bible, because this is different now. Pastor Adewale Onofo, I want to thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Of course, the program continues after this break. We'll be back.